Hello and welcome to the Mathematics PLC Curriculum Preview Series for kindergarten through 8th grade. I'm Haley Veron, the Elementary Math Coordinator.
And I am Megan Dixon, the Secondary Math Coordinator. We look forward to working with teachers and instructional leaders throughout the school year.
Please feel free to communicate with us any questions or for additional support. To create a professional learning community, a PLC, educators must focus on student learning, working collaboratively, and holding ourselves accountable for results. This video will answer 3 crucial questions that drive the work within a PLC. What do we want each student to learn? How will we know each student has learned it? And how will we respond when a student doesn't learn?
At this time, we will take a moment to prepare for the PLC process by identifying the units covered in the upcoming 6 weeks using the year at a glance, reviewing the assessment calendar and/or blueprints for available grade levels, and gather appropriate documents, IFDs for upcoming units, lead forwards organizing the TEKS standard types document or content builder, the PLC for Math PLC document, and yellow, green, and blue highlighters. All of the reference documents can be found on the CISD Center for Teaching and Learning website under the Curriculum Previews tab and the TEKS Resource System website. Please take a moment to complete these tasks.
We will now take a moment to explore the pieces of the unit IFDs for the upcoming 6 weeks. TEKS Resource System has revised the math IFDs this year using a more conceptual design. The components of the IFD we will discuss are the unit overview, overarching understandings and questions, performance assessments, formerly called performance indicators, overarching concepts and unit concepts, unit understandings, misconceptions and underdeveloped concepts, unit vocabulary, and unit level specificity.
Let's first take a look at the IFD for the first unit that will be covered in the upcoming 6 weeks. After you review the first IFD in completion, you will repeat the process with each unit that is covered during the 6 weeks. The first component of the IFD is the unit overview. One of the benefits of this component is that it will cover the before, during, and after of the content covered. Take a moment to pause the video to review the unit overview and answer the discussion questions. What concepts did students learn in the previous grade to prepare them? Look at how students will use these concepts in subsequent grades. Will the way you teach it still apply in those grades?
A new component of the IFD for kindergarten through 8th grade is the overarching understandings and questions. Overarching understandings are generalized statements that move beyond the specifics of a unit or topic and encompass big ideas and overarching concepts, the why of the learning. Overarching questions are open-ended and frame the big idea and concepts.
The third component is the performance assessments, previously known as the performance indicators. The performance assessment is an assessment of bundled standards blending content knowledge, process skills, and student performance that demonstrates learning in order to reflect the rigor of the state standards as well as local unit assessments. Please pause the video at this time and discuss how you can use the performance assessments in planning your instruction.
The fourth part is the overarching concepts and unit concepts. Overarching concepts organize the big ideas, and unit concepts align to student expectations and generalize content within the unit. Take a moment to discuss how many concepts are taught during this unit. Which of these concepts are new to your team or to the students?
Next is the unit understandings. The unit understandings are major points of bundled standards and frames what students should know after completing the unit. They are directly correlated to the performance assessments and concepts. They serve to connect overarching understandings with daily instruction. New to the Unit Understanding section for kindergarten through 8th grade are unit questions. Unit questions are open-ended, thought-provoking questions that are specifically aligned to the unit understandings to frame student inquiry. Unit questions may be wrapped with appropriate process skills.
The sixth component is misconceptions and underdeveloped concepts. A misconception is considered to be a view or opinion that is incorrect because it is based on faulty thinking or lack of understanding. The underdeveloped concepts, which are considered to be an inadequate, superficial, or partial understanding of the conceptual idea or skill. Please pause the video and discuss. How will these misconceptions and underdeveloped concepts be addressed during your planning? How can you use this information to modify instruction?
The seventh component is key content and related vocabulary. Key content vocabulary are domain-specific terms such as major content terminology or key literary processes, skills, or elements. Definitions are included. Related vocabulary, which can be found on kindergarten through 8th grade IFDs, is general level terminology that may have high yield impacts when utilized in combination with key content vocabulary. Questions for discussion are: what strategies will you use to ensure mastery of vocabulary for each standard in this unit? What is your plan if students do not master the vocabulary?
The last piece is the unit level specificity. This part is where the TEKS are broken down to the minute details and expectations of what students are supposed to learn. When reviewing the standard, make sure to identify the cognitive level. These are the verbs that define what the students will be able to do. The content level, which is overall concept that students will learn, and in what context will it be taught.
Also available on the IFD are system resources and other resources such as state trainings and additional references.
We will now begin the content building piece of the PLC process. You will need the following materials at this time: the unit IFDs for the upcoming 6 weeks, the content builder document, and the PLC for the Math PLC document. At this time, we will be using organizing instruction using the TEKS standard types document. This is part of the what of a PLC. By completing this graphic organizer, we will be able to see how the standards are connected and organized. Please take your first unit out for the upcoming 6 weeks. At this time, please read the TEKS listed on the IFD. As you read the TEKS, highlight in yellow the supporting standards and highlight the readiness standards in green. All remaining standards are process standards and will be highlighted in blue. If necessary, please refer to the organizing instruction using the TEKS standard types document to review the description and each standard's role in learning. Take note that the blue process standards will fall into one of two basic categories: how students access learning or how students demonstrate learning. For kindergarten through 2nd grade, the supporting and readiness standards are not identified on the IFD, so please use the lead forward snapshot. Please take a moment to complete this task. Now use the highlighted IFD as a key to place each standard in the corresponding color-coded graphic organizer. This is a completed 5th grade math content builder.
At this time, we will pause for small group purposeful talk to discuss seed questions, both of which are attributes of the fundamental 5. Seed questions are essential to guiding and focusing conversations to the desired learning outcomes. During this time, focus specifically on previously identified readiness standards. Some of the questions we will list have been embedded in previous slides for discussion, but can be reviewed at this time. What concepts did students learn in the previous grade to prepare them for this unit? This can be found in the unit overview of the IFD. Also in the unit overview, look at how the student will use that concept in subsequent grades. Will the way you teach it help prepare students for future learning? In the underdeveloped concepts and misconceptions section of the IFD, what underdeveloped concept plays a role in the student's success of the readiness standards? Also, what common misconceptions deter students from being successful? From the listed vocabulary, which terminology will play a key role to ensure mastery? And last, How have you taught this content in the past, and how will you teach it differently this year? Please keep in mind that small group purposeful talk about the learning typically lasts between 30 seconds to 3 minutes per question. Please pause the video at this time to allow for discussion.
After reviewing all units in the upcoming 6 weeks, we will begin the Now What piece of the PLC curriculum preview. Using the PLC for the Math PLC page as a tool for creating lessons, classroom instruction will move to a higher level of understanding, as well as offer opportunities for students to transfer information. The first step in completing the PLC for Math PLC is to list all the readiness standards in the upcoming units. Take time now to discuss which stimulus could be used to address these TEKs. The next step is to review the verbs in the SEs. Which thinking activities will match the rigor for this level of Bloom's? Now discuss 2 to 5 thinking opportunities for students to demonstrate how they will process the information. This will occur every 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the grade level during the whole group instruction. Please pause to complete this task. Look at the Evidence of Learning column. Discuss and select an appropriate product that can be used to show evidence of student learning which matches the rigor of the readiness standard. Questions to think about when selecting the evidence of learning. How will students demonstrate their thinking? How will we know when students have mastered the concept? Once you have selected an end product or evidence of learning, you will use high-yield instructional strategies to support student learning. This is not an exhaustive list of all instructional strategies. Please feel free to choose other high-yield instructional strategies. This is an example of what a completed PLC for Math PLC document might look like.
Some resources with examples of instructional strategies are shown. These are only a few of the infinite amount of instructional strategies out there. Also visit the Center for Teaching and Learning on the Crowley ISD website for more examples. Take a moment to discuss an instructional strategy you have used in the past or might use to teach concepts in the upcoming units.
An integral part of the PLC, Now What, is intervention. Take time now to discuss the following questions and what they may look like on your campus. How will we provide students with additional time and support in a timely, directive, and systematic way when students experience difficulty? How can we enrich the learning of students who are already proficient?
We appreciate you participating in the PLC curriculum preview. Please be sure to submit a copy of the Math for Math PLC document and organizing instruction using the TEK standard types document to the appropriate campus designee.
Thank you, and we look forward to serving you this year.